Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Language Arts Gallery. Today, we're going to continue with lesson 2 of our practical English course. Last week, we talked about business English expressions and idioms. Today, we're going to talk about some expressions and some idioms that you might either hear or use in a job interview. So I'm going to continue with a new video each week for our practical English course. So please remember to subscribe to the channel, and you can also like and comment on this video. So let's go ahead and let's get started. The first expression is hit the ground running. So if you're a job candidate who can hit the ground running, you can start a job and you can be immediately productive. So you might want to use this expression in a job interview by saying, I'm ready to hit the ground running. I'm ready to start this job and make an immediate impact. It's always a good idea to tell your boss or the person who's interviewing what you've done to show that you can hit the ground running. So perhaps you've got some great experience working on a project that company is working on. You're able to take that experience and transfer it to the new job. So you're really ready to hit the ground running. You don't need a lot of training or a lot of preparation. The next one is go-getter. Hopefully you're a go-getter. If you're a go-getter, you're a highly motivated person, you work very hard. A go-getter is somebody who's very ambitious. They want to do well in their personal life and in their career. A people person. So we're going to talk about two expressions that indicate that you work well with others. The first is to say that you're a people person. If you're a people person, you get along well with others. You're a very outgoing person. You're a person who's usually well liked. Very often, if you're a people person, you work well in teams. So if people say, do you work well with others? You can say, yes, I'm really a people person. I enjoy being part of teams. Now, you can be a people person, and very similar, slightly different, is to be a team player. A team player, hopefully, is also a people person. They work well with others, but a team player often puts the goals of the team ahead of their own goals. So if you're asked to make a sacrifice, but it's for the good of the organization or for the good of the team that you're working with, if you're a team player, you're willing to make that sacrifice and to do what's necessary to help the team succeed or to help the organization succeed. To go the extra mile. So when you go the extra mile, you go above and beyond what is expected. This is a great thing to highlight in your job interview. You want your prospective employer to know that you're the type of worker who's willing to go the extra mile. Remember, if you tell your boss or you tell your prospective employer that you're a person who goes the extra mile, be sure to have an example to share that illustrates what you do to go the extra mile. To work well under pressure. So you can also say, I thrive under pressure. I personally think saying that you thrive under pressure is better. And I think it also depends on the job you're applying for. If you're going to be working in a position that's highly stressful, there's always deadlines, there's always lots of pressure, lots of stress, then you want to say you thrive under pressure. If you're a person who works well or thrives under pressure, you're able to handle a high stress environment. You're able to meet tight deadlines. Very often, if you're working in a position where you're constantly setting out to meet sales targets, it's very busy, it's very fast paced, you need to be a person who works well or thrives under pressure. Detail oriented. You certainly need to be a detail oriented person, especially if you're working in a job, for example, such as accounting or bookkeeping. You need to pay attention to small things, small details. Again, it's really important if you say you're very detail oriented, give examples to your prospective employer as to what you do that makes you a detail-oriented person. A jack of all trades. Now, this can be a very good thing, or it might not be a very good thing. If you're a jack of all trades, you're somebody who has a variety of skills and talents. I'm a teacher. I have taught ESOL. I have also taught primary school language arts. I've taught in self-contained primary schools. I've worked with students with special needs. I have taught high school English. I have taught high school business. I have taught academic writing. I have taught doctoral students. So I'm really a jack of all trades. I've taught a lot of different disciplines. But what you want to be is somebody who has a variety of skills or talents. You don't want to be a jack of all trades and a master of none. If you're a jack of all trades and a master of none, that means you have some ability in a lot of different areas, but you're not really an expert in any one area. So if you're going for a position that's highly specialized, you really want to highlight the skills that you have that make you a good fit for that position. You don't want to come across as a jack of all trades because your employer or your future employer might say, is this person a jack of all trades and a master of none? In other words, are they really good at a lot of things, but not an expert in the area that we need? And to see the big picture. If you're a person who sees the big picture, you're a person who's able to see organizational goals. You're able to exhibit long-term thinking and understand long-term strategies for the organization. So you can use this along with expressions like being a team player. If you're a team player, remember, you're willing to sacrifice your own goals for the good of the team, or at least put the team's goals ahead of your own. So if they ask you how you're willing to do that, you can say, well, I'm able to see the big picture. I'm able to recognize that the needs of the organization are most important. And to climb the ladder, or sometimes we say to climb the corporate ladder. So to climb the ladder means to advance either in a company or in your career. Sometimes you're working at a company that allows you to climb the ladder within that company. And sometimes you get into a job where you've done everything you can, and the only way to continue to climb the corporate ladder or climb the ladder is to transfer to a different company and take on a more demanding role with that new company. Okay, thank you so much for joining me for that second video on our Practical English course. Please remember to subscribe to my channel, and you will get next week's video with another Practical English lesson.